Hey everybody, welcome to our live. It is Tuesday, and we come to you live each and every day, Monday through Thursday. And we're here for you. We're here to talk about Luminess, to show it being done. Obviously, I start with no makeup on, and then we go to makeup. So it's a great way for you to ask questions. It doesn't have to be about what we're talking about at the moment. If you have a random question about something else, you can ask it at that point anytime. Anytime you can ask. So there you go. So today we kind of discussed a little bit about the airbrush blush yesterday. The blush is something that comes up a lot because of the fact that it is so high pigmented. So a little bit goes a long way. And so we probably don't talk about it enough to let you know, like, what do I do with it? When we're airbrushing, I always tell you, hey, keep it 4 finger widths away, keep it moving, that kind of thing. Hello, Lori. Good to see you. I'm doing great. Thank you. And a lot of times I do blush first before the foundation, because that way it really, if I do get blush happy, it will open it, like it, and when it blooms, if it's too much, and then when I put the foundation on over it, then it kind of settles it down, kind of mutes it a little bit. And so that's a great thing about the airbrush blush. I've seen if this was, I wanted to get some new rose serum because I love that the Bulgarian rose serum mist. It is so hydrating for the skin. And yesterday we talked about, like, when you have Monday morning eyes and you're like, ugh, and how putting that moisture back into our skin makes a huge difference. And so that Bulgarian rose mist is really a great way to get that moisture into your skin, and look alive, basically. So let's go ahead and get started. I've been doing Love with my foundation this summer, and I really like it. So I'm gonna shake it up. Shake up my foundation, shake up my my Love, and then I am going to do the blush. I am going to do the plum blush. I love the plum blush. Hello, Andrea. How are you? Good to see you. Which one is this? I did the purple yesterday. I think I'm going to just go to the glow today. And so I am going to put glow on first. And I'm going to put that underneath my eyes, on my lids, cover those areas that I need to start covering. Hey, Grizzly, how are you? So I'm turning on my system. I have a couple of drops of the glow in there. And then I'm going to start my movements first, and then lightly pull down on my trigger. When airbrushing, when using the breeze, you do not want to pull down all the way on the trigger. And even using the icon, if you're using a traditional stylus, you don't pull all the way back. It's about pulling super lightly, because we want very little makeup to come out. The trigger is what pulls back the needle and lets the makeup out, and you want very little makeup to come out. So I'm going to go around here. And then I think that's all I'm going to do, just to lighten it up a little bit underneath the eyes. Now notice that it does get lighter, but you don't see a demarcation line. You don't see the boom, the real thick line. Demarcation lines you're going to get with traditional makeup, because you wipe it on, you see that opaqueness, and then you blend it all out. Whereas when we're airbrushing, it's blending for you. And so when you're applying it, you don't want to see that demarcation line. It should be live, but then it should kind of fade out. So, hey, Jeannie, good to see you. Glad you're back. All right, so now I'm going to go in with my blush. So I'm going to shake it up. The blush, again, is super high pigmented. When using the blush, you only want to use about 2 drops of the blush, and that's it. Because if you use more, you're going to look crazy. And we don't want you to look crazy, okay? Don't look crazy. I actually did 3 drops of the blush because there's a lot of different things that we can do with the blush, and I'm going to use it for my eyes too. In the summer, you know, I feel like we need to have like light, fresh makeup, and that's what Love. I feel like I get with Love. I get like a lit from within, a luminosity to my skin, and so I feel like I don't need to go as heavy on the eyeshadow. You know, for day-to-day stuff, I don't need to go as heavy on the eyeshadow. And so, you know, using the blush as eyeshadow is a great way to make it easier for you, right? Andrea asks, how many drops of primer do you need? So Andrea, it's a tricky question. I don't always use the primer. If you're talking about the M1 primer, I don't always use the primer, especially since I'm using Love. It really depends on your skin. So if you are using the primer, then try like 2 or 3 drops. Again, depending on your skin, you can use it and then use it one day without and see which way you like it best. It's, you know, it really is just going to matter about your skin because there is a little bit of primer in the foundation. And so you may not need it. But if your face is really dry, then you may need it. But there's always a but. If you're using the Bulgarian Rose Mist, if I use the Bulgarian Rose Mist, then I don't use the primer. Again, we're cutting steps out. A lot of the products overlap and do different things. And so you might find that you don't need the primer, or maybe you love the primer and you don't need you have to kind of try them out and see what works with your skin. Okay. So now I have my blush in here, the Plum blush. Oh, awesome. Jeannie has a little bit of a tan from vacation. I'm going to go in. And you can kind of see it start to bloom. With the blush, it's super important. I'm going to go in my eyes now. With the blush, it's super important to kind of get it to where you love it, almost love it, and then you stop. Oh, I might need some more. So I'm going to add just one more drop. It always tickles my eyelashes. I'm like, just watching where I put it. Okay, now this one I got it a little bit, like I got too much. So what do? You tap it out. I'm not pulling on my eye. I'm just tapping it out because it was a little bit too much. And now I can go in and you can already tell and already see that color coming up a little bit more. I'm kind of bringing it up a little bit too. All right. So now I'll go in. I am going to just run some water through it since I'm going from blush to my foundation with Love in there. And so I am going to run some water through it just to rinse it out a little bit. You don't always have to do that. But I had a lot around the bowl of where the foundation goes. And so I just wanted to make sure that it was ready for my foundation. So I'm adding a few drops of my foundation and a few drops of my Love. And I want to stick with, because I'm adding Love in with my foundation and it's going to give me that luminosity, I want to stick, I don't want to be too shiny. I think sometimes we get excited about the shine and then we get too shiny. So we don't want to do that. So I'll spray a little bit on my paper towel, make sure that's the, you know, I'm getting the foundation, and then I'll make my passes. Make it all the way around. So Grizzly, if you're on YouTube, if you're still there, I love the name is Grizzly Before Coffee. How many cups of coffee do you have to have in the morning? It's a cute name. I like it. So now I'm just kind of going over, making sure everything's covered that I need covered. And you can see how it softens the blush because we're not, you know, how blush or how our airbrush goes on, it's like little pixels everywhere. So when we start filling it in, it's going to blend. And then you can see how it does give some luminosity. That's all the foundation I need. And then I'm going to put some water through it again, back bubble a little, and clean that out. You do want to clean after every single time you use it. When you are completely done, run some water through it a few times, back bubble it, run water, and then I run a little bit of the Tip Top cleaner through it. Whoops. To make sure that it is clean, clean, clean. How many times, Andrew's asking some good questions. How many times should you back bubble to mix the products? It depends on, I mean, I would say just a couple is all you need. Mixing Love with my foundation, I don't need to do it a lot because they're very similar and they can just mix. But let's say I was mixing Glow with a 9 to get my foundation. I might mix that a little bit more because I need it lighter. If that makes sense. So if you're just doing it to mix them in real quick, where it's not going to necessarily change it too much, then just a couple of times and you're good. But like, let's say I only had Glow and a shade 9, and I was going to try to make it to my shade 3, then I would probably do it a little bit more to make sure it's good and mixed. Does that make sense? The other thing you can do, and a lot of times what I do is I always keep a tissue or a Kleenex near me. So if I do mix products or going from one product to the other, I'll actually do a little bit on my paper towel or tissue to make sure that that's the color I'm getting or the color I need next. Does that make sense too? Okay. I hope so. I hope that's clear as mud. Just kidding. All right. So now I'm going to go in, and today I'm just going to use some, I think if I still have it in here, a lip liner as my lip. And I like lining right outside the line, not where there's space, but just on the outside. Muzette, how are you, my friend? I'm missing you. So I'm getting this one in. And a lot of times, guys, I fill my lips in with the liners, and I use that as color. You can add a little bit of a gloss to it if you wanted, or something like that. So good to see you. So I'm just kind of, I know she's starting 3rd grade next summer or next year. She's getting too big for her britches. For sure. All right. So now, of course, adding mascara. And so I'm going to go in. And we are, like I told you guys, we are working on getting our mascara back. But I also want to show you, so I did the eyeshadow as my, or I did blush as eyeshadow. But let's say I go in. And I'm going to put a little bit of mascara on this side too. And mascara, mascara, mascara. Oh, mascara makes such a big difference. Okay, now. I know. All right, so if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, okay, I'm digging this, but let's say I'm not feeling the eyes. So I'm pretty much done, but let's say, okay, all I have on is the blush. I can go in and tweak my eyes till I'm liking them. I mean, not that there's anything wrong, it's just not doing anything for me. So, you know, it depends on what look you're going for, what you're used to, all of that. And so I'm going in with just a brown and I'm going to just blend that in the crease. I think that just with another little shade would, see, I already like it better. It just gives me a little bit more depth. And it speaks more me, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, see, I like that better. So it just depends on what look you're going for, what you want. You can line, you could, this time, and this might be what is also was throwing me off, is I didn't put anything underneath. So that may have been throwing me off a little bit. But there's always a need, or you always want to try something new. You don't want to get stuck in a rut. Yes, we have to have our go-to look, our go-to, like, you know, you can do it in your sleep look, that you just go and do it, but you always want to try something new. You know, doing the line underneath. Do I always need to do it? No. Do I like having the line underneath? Yes. But if I want to change something up, then I can do it, right? So there you go. Easy enough. So yeah, try something new. I always tell you guys, which I haven't said in a while, but I want you to try something new before taking your makeup off, whether it's a smoky eye or whether it's lining a different way or whatever it is. Try something different before you take your makeup off. That way, there's no pressure. You can see if you like it. You're going to take your makeup off anyway, but then that way you do get to experience it and just figure it out. Beauty is very subjective. It's an art. And how people interpret their art is going to be different. So there you go. All right. Someone wants to say hello. And then we're going to go for the day. Hi. She came with me today. So she wanted to say hi. She wrote me a note and asked. So there you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everybody's having a great summer. Everyone, again, try something new before you take your makeup off. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.